Hi, my name is Josian Rosario, and I'm going to be teaching you how to do frequency separation in Photoshop. It's a little bit more advanced technique, and it still uses the clone stamp tool, like some of you guys may know, but instead of using it on just one layer, we're going to be separating the layer into two, one texture and one color, technically. We start this by selecting the background layer, and you're going to want to make duplicates, and in Photoshop there's a shortcut which is Control J, and we're going to name these layers bottom and top. That way we don't get lost later. And then select the bottom layer and go to Gaussian blur. You want to make sure that it's not too blurred out, it's just blurry. Like this is too blurred out. I can't see any detail. I have to be able to see some detail. So it has to be around like 7, 8. You can still see everything, but it's blurry. Then press OK. Then select the top layer, and you're going to go to Image, Apply Image, and under Layer, we're going to select the bottom one, which is in Gaussian blurred, remember, and then the blending mode to subtract. This is important. You have to set the scale to 2 and the offset to 128. This has to be exact, and it has to look just like this weird grayish look. And then you press OK, and you're going to go to the blending mode down here and go to Linear Light. Everything will look like it was normal again. Okay, so now we're going to select the Healing Brush tool, and you're going to want to change the size depending on what you're trying to remove. In this case, we're going to be removing the zits first, which are up here in the forehead. So the size I have around 40, yeah, around 40, that's pretty good. Yeah. And then the hardness around 6%, and the spacing 20%. The angle and the roundness, that's something that you can play with, especially if you have a tablet. I have mine set to -40 and my roundness to 25%. If I don't have a tablet, this makes it pretty easy for me. Once you have it set, you want to select back into the layer, and you want to select an area with the Alt button. It'll create that target. And you want to select an area nearby so that it will replace it with that kind of pixel. You don't want it to be replaced with like skin texture from up here near the forehead, and then bring it down here. It'll look kind of odd. As you can see, it won't look natural. Let me get all of these right quick. And then if you want to fix the slightly dark colored spots that are underneath what we removed, you go to the the clone stamp tool, and you want to set it to lighten. And the opacity, you want to set it really low. 10% for this spot. Just enough to brighten them up a little so they feel less red. And we'll move down here to the eyes. You want to select the Healing Brush tool again. Remember, select from around the area. Definitely don't want skin from the forehead popping up underneath the eye. That would look weird. Straight here, let's see. there's any other stray hairs or anything I want to fix. And then I'm going to fix the darkening down here. Remember, select your clone stamp tool. You want the opacity to be pretty low for this, especially down here, because the skin is a lot lighter colored. That way it looks natural and it doesn't look like you painted it in. And you always want to select an area nearby with the Alt button. That way it's not unnatural to be there. And it works in dark areas too. It doesn't only have to be in the light. Alright, and as you can see, it's been fixed. So you can see a quick comparison, put it in a folder. Now there's some other tricks, like if I want to change the eye color, this is really useful because I can stick the color in between the texture layer and the color layer, and it'll look a lot more natural than if I put it on just the original file. That way the texture of the eye, like all those spots of the light and texture in the eye, will stay there and I won't ruin it and it won't look super painted and fake. Color it in and then press color under the blending mode, and then you want to set the opacity way down. That way it looks natural. If it's too high, it'll look almost as if like neon. That's not. No one has neon colored eyes. See? And now she has green eyes. Another trick is that the texture layer can sharpen the whole image for you now that it's been removed, and that's pretty nifty. What you do is you duplicate it and it instantly makes everything more like crisp. As you see, it's a little bit too crisp, so you can always turn down the opacity to where you like it. And there's also another option where you can mask in how much you want, but I'll cover masking in another video because that's like, it's really creative and very useful, and this one doesn't really show like really how much you can do with it, but it's a very powerful tool in Photoshop that you'll want to learn. And that about sums it up for basics. I'll probably cover like color and dodge and burn in another video, which dodge and burn will help you with light, and of course color will help you with any off coloring that happens. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you guys another time.